you would. I want to bring in Bill Barr, the former Attorney General, twice Attorney General in the Bush administration and the Trump administration. As we watch this play out, I know you've been watching it closely this afternoon as well. Bill, your thoughts. Welcome. Good to have you here. And your thoughts on this.
Well, my thoughts are pretty much the same as they've been for the last week or so. I haven't heard anything that suggests there's something new in this indictment that wasn't anticipated. If there is, then we'll have to respond to that when we see it. But I think what Brett said is absolutely right. Prosecution should always involve a measure of discretionary judgment where you weigh the public interest as a whole. And even before I became Attorney General the second time, I said in relation to Mueller's investigation that before we go off on a president, a sitting president, or a former president, there should be clear evidence of a real crime. It shouldn't be a debatable crime. The evidence should be strong. And also, this is not just by virtue of his prior office, but he's a candidate in the current election. So this is a charging decision that affects our current national politics. And judgment there, it seems to me, and prosecutorial discretion should commend caution in this circumstance. And as I've said, this appears to be just a pathetically weak case that is, I think, demonstrably wrong on the law, which explains why the Department of Justice, even after I left office, has never pursued this idea of campaign finance problem.
It was passed on by the Southern District of New York, passed on by the Federal Election Commission, this case. So, you talk about prosecutorial discretion. It looks like the next level, the next opportunity for that discretion is going to fall on this judge, Marchand, when he looks at whether or not to dismiss this case, if he feels that it is, in your words, pathetically weak. What goes into that part of this process, Bill?
Well, I think it'll be largely a legal judgment as to whether there's really probable cause to believe that this falsification of records was done to defraud anybody. And second, whether or not this involves the campaign finance law, which I don't think it does. And I think any idea that this defrauds the voters, as Andy just said a moment ago, is simply wrong. That doesn't create a crime.
But
So I wanted to start off this video with that. Now, I understand some people may have some strong opinions about former Attorney General Bill Barr or William Barr. But if there's anybody that knows the law, it's that guy. Okay? So when he talks about certain things in regards to this whole trial situation or, Trump situation, I listen. Because I know that he knows the law. I mean, he's been basically the top cop in the land twice. Okay. So when you have those words coming from him, who obviously we know him and Trump have had their issues. When you have those words coming directly from his mouth, the former two-time Attorney General of the United States, saying that this is weak. This is weak. There's nothing new here that wasn't already looked into before. This is false. I listen. And it's really, really interesting that all of this is going on right here and right now. But I want to dive into some more legal stuff in terms of this entire situation. Obviously, it's the talk of the town, so let's talk about it, all right? Let's talk about it. So after the whole situation yesterday, Trump's lawyers actually came out and spoke about the entire situation. But before we hop into all of that, hit that like button, okay? Would greatly appreciate it. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm to push this video out to more and more folks, all right? Turn more folks Republican, okay? That's never a bad thing, turning more and more folks Republican. So we stop having stuff like this happen. Hopefully this is a one and done type of situation, but we shall see. All right. Please be aware there is a scammer in my comment section. Do not be scammed. The only way to donate to me is through the YouTube platform itself via what's called a super thanks. That is the only way. And shout out to everybody that already has. Greatly appreciate Every single last one of you guys. Thank you so, so much. All right. And with that being said, let's dive in.
There's not really any surprises. I know there was a lot of talk over the past several weeks and the past several days about what's going to be in this indictment and what's going to be there that we don't know. There must be something besides what we've been talking about for the past 4 or 5 years. There wasn't. There's nothing. The indictment itself is boilerplate. It doesn't allege any federal crime, any state crime that's been violated. It doesn't allege what the false statement is. And it's really disappointing. It's sad, and we're going to fight it. We're going to fight it hard.
Were you surprised? Were you surprised by anything in the indictment?
No.
How about you, Joe? Were you surprised?
Yeah, I was surprised there were no facts in there. I mean, normally in an indictment you have alleged facts. So they said that this was a false business record entry to aid and abet another crime. We're not saying what the other crime was.
Can you talk about his demeanor? How is he doing?
Yeah, I found that fascinating too. To aid and abet another crime, and he never mentioned what the other crime was because he said, and who I'm talking about is Alvin Bragg. He did a press conference or briefing or whatever you want to call it. And if I remember correctly, he said, because it's not, the law doesn't require him to name the other, like what law that he was trying to break or whatever. So that's why it's not mentioned. And I'm like, what? I mean, okay. I mean, I guess if you want to get technical, if the law does, says that you don't have to specify, but like, don't you think that raises more eyebrows with this whole situation?
Reaction was when he saw the charges against him.
When you say what his reaction was, what do you expect his reaction was? I mean, his reaction was exactly what would happen if it happened to anybody that I'm looking at now or anybody that's hearing what you're saying. He's frustrated, he's upset, but I'll tell you what, he's motivated, and it's not going to stop him, and it's not going to slow him down, and it's exactly what he expected, and so to that extent, there's no surprise, but he's also upset and frustrated and disappointed and mad that this happened.
What about the warnings against his rhetoric on what was the former president's
Well, there was not a warning. What do you mean?
from the judge talking about
The judge did not
threats
warn.
that
The district attorney made a statement addressing what they perceived to be. I'm not sure what the words they used, inappropriate rhetoric of some sort. Obviously we responded and the judge just took it in. The judge didn't warn. He asked the parties to consider what they're saying and not saying.
Guys, he did not admonish the president.
There was no admonishment.
That the president not use language that would incite violence or civil unrest.
He did not request that the president not use language.
See how they're trying to twist things? And that's why I made these videos the past few weeks about not playing into what the left wants and becoming violent. That's exactly what they want. That's how they want us to react. That's what they want us to do. And it's important that we never give them what they want. They want another J6. That's what they want. They might try to say it, in my humble opinion, that they don't want it. But in my humble opinion, that's what I think that they want. They want some more footage of Republicans being extremely violent so that they can close in the cage. They can close the cage and lock the door. And see, those Republicans over there, those guys are horrible, terrible, no good, very bad people. It's important that we lock them down and we never allow them to do anything in this country. In my humble opinion. Now, I could be wrong. That may be extreme. All right. But that's just how I'm feeling at this point, seeing everything. So, yes, can we make sure our voices are heard? Absolutely. But keep it peaceful. And if you see anybody being violent or being, ignorant out there, call them out, get them on camera, and stop them. All right? Because when the left comes out and says, oh, look, the MAGA Republicans, they're being violent. And we all can pull up the videos and be like, no, look, those are the MAGA Republicans. That's an impersonator. We got them on camera. We told them to stop. We did our best to get them away from our group. That's not one of us. And it's on camera. So they can't deny it. Or try to, lie about it, I should say.
He requested that everybody involved refrain from using language that's inappropriate. And by the way, that includes the witnesses the witnesses for the people, who are talking just
But it
as
also
much
includes
as
the former president swinging a baseball bat at the head of the Manhattan DA.
Well, I don't know where you got that, because if
That
you
was a tweet sent out by the former president.
He
no,
doesn't
it wasn't.
tweet.
And first of all, that picture was not him swinging a baseball bat. I mean, if you want to distort the facts, go right ahead. I won't
Part of
address that.
distortion of
Yes, it
facts.
is. He wasn't swinging a baseball bat at anyone's head. That was a picture of him showing off an American-made bat. Someone else put a picture of the district attorney next to him, and in an article posted that. That's not his article. It's not his photos.
To not using language that incites.
Guys, here's what we're going to talk about today. Here's what we're going to talk about today.
See what I mean? See how they keep trying to go to the violence? Oh, Trump swinging a bat, at the image. Oh, inciting violence. You see what I'm talking about? Don't do it.
We're going to talk about the insufficiency of this case. And I will say this to you. Today's unsealing of this indictment shows that the rule of law died in this country. Because while everyone is not above the law, no one's below it either. And if this man's name was not Donald J. Trump, there is no scenario we'd all be here today. Please understand that based on these charges.
What are we going to get tonight when he speaks?
When?
Tonight.
8 o'clock.
What are we going to
What? I don't know. You'll hear
You
it.
should tune in and you'll
You
hear
think we
it.
know?
Prosecution wanted the trial
Can you-
in January. Did you think that was realistic?
No.
Can you guys talk about? There's a
No,
lot
I
of
don't think it's
speculation about the unity among the defense attorneys.
Look at this.
There's
Look
a
at
lot
us.
Is that why you chose
Look.
to do this?
To come out together? We
We
chose,
don't know.
we
That's
chose to come out together so we could speak with one voice. But there is no disunity here. That's gossip and it's nonsense.
And-
We've been working together and we will be working together.
And this, to me, quite frankly, is the best team I've ever worked with, the lawyers. I'm honored to be working with these guys. It's a family. It's a team. And we have one mission, and we'll achieve that mission.
move? What's your next move?
I'm going to go home and have some food.
What about the change of venue stuff? When do we?
We're going to start fighting the case. I didn't mean to be flippant on you.
When do you start filing motions? I'm assuming one of the first things you're going to
The
do.
judge set a motion schedule.
To dismiss. I assume that'll be
the judge set a motion schedule that requires motion files in 4 months. So that's when we'll be filing motions.
This whole notion about how this is sort of like a novel or
4 months. Now, for any of my legal experts, is that typical? 4 months? Sheesh.
do you?
It's not a notion. It's actually a fact. It's never been
but
charged
talk
before.
about that. But like,
There's nothing else to say except the district attorney. This office has existed for decades and decades, and you can find one if you'd like. You'll never see a charge like this ever.
You understand
this case?
You understand this. It's as simple as this. A state prosecutor is prosecuting a federal election law violation that doesn't exist according to federal election law officials. It's as simple as that. That you can just sum it all up like that.
Will there be anything else in your motion?
Run that back. To sum it up.
Prosecutor is prosecuting a federal election law violation that doesn't exist according to federal election law officials. It's as simple as that. That you can just
State prosecutor going after a federal offense, even though the feds said that there was no offense. Everything that I've seen and I've heard, obviously I showed you guys the clip of Bill Barr, and I understand some people have some strong opinions about Bill Barr. Regardless of that, he was a 2-time U.S. Attorney General. Obviously, we just had Trump lawyers speak. I've heard some other supposed legal experts speak about this entire situation, and from every single person, including on CNN. Yes. I have to watch CNN from time to time, just for news stories and whatnot to see what I'm going to bring to you guys. Okay. I don't watch it for my pleasure. Trust me. Even on CNN, they've started to admit this is weak. This is weak. So also, if we have any legal experts in the comment section, any lawyers or anything, let me know in the comments section. How do you guys feel about the situation? How do you think this is going to turn out? I'm just really curious what comes out of this entire situation. Do we get Trump actually convicted of something? Are these charges dropped in 4 months or whatever, they're supposed to go back? Is he charged with something small and it's just kind of thing? What comes of this? How does this end? Because I think if nothing comes of this, that will spell absolute disaster for Democrats. Absolute disaster. Trump's poll numbers have just shot through the roof. I mean, in primaries, there's no point in anybody else running at this point. No point. No point. Even Ron DeSantis has like fallen off a cliff, according to the last poll that I saw, where Trump was over 50 and I think Ron was at like 20 something. You know, so I think this is spelling disaster for Democrats if Trump isn't actually convicted of something and facing actual jail time. And even then, unless I forgot the specifications, I think it might be a federal crime where he may not be able to run, but anything else, like he still can. Even then, he's still going to get votes. So how do you guys think this is all going to turn out? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.